There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so we can all move on with our lives. I'm Jessie Stevens and I'm joined by Claire Stevens. And Claire, you're bringing the Lazy Girl story today. What have you got?
I am. Can I just say my favourite thing is when lazy girls write in and they say, I have another lazy girl story.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you've shared one previously. And honestly, that's like commitment.
It's commitment.
To share another
Let's
one.
go, I have more. And I'm going to send it via a different medium.
Yeah.
Sometimes email, sometimes Insta DM. We never really tell them how to do it.
No.
So they get through to us with letters in the mail.
Yeah.
No, lazy girls would never do such a thing.
Jessie, this one is from Bridie. She says, girls, I have a lazy girl story for you. Thank you. I work at a New South Wales Health public hospital. And because of my 12.5 hour shifts,
That is not very lazy girl. But she got to do some lazy girl things in her private life.
yeah, honestly, congrats for that work ethic.
We would never.
Anyway, finding street parking near the hospital has never been a problem. I'm currently pregnant and see the midwives and obstetricians often, which means I have to park in the multi-storey car park for these appointments, as the street parking is all gone by 8 a.m. onwards. In my work bag, crumpled up and covered in crumbs, that's always the state of a work bag, is a staff member parking application form to give me heavily discounted parking, which has been there for possibly a whole year. The problem is I don't know where the office to take it to is, and it feels like too much work to find out.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
Actually so valid. Like, give me some clear instructions. So I haven't bothered. Not only have I been paying exorbitantly for parking every time I have an appointment, if I never submit the form, which, let's be real, of course I won't, it also means my partner will have to pay for hours and hours of parking at the hospital when I have the baby instead of a flat rate of just $5. Hashtag lazy girl tax.
She's a lazy girl.
Okay, this woman. She's printed the thing, right?
Yeah, well, she's got a form.
She's got a form, but she can't get the form to the people that need the form
No.
to make the thing.
No. I would say that sometimes as lazy girls, what we need to do is we need to just try, because what happens is sometimes if you fill in the form and give it to the wrong person,
They'll get it to the right
they'll
one.
get it to the right one because they identify,
Very true.
here we've got a lazy girl. I have a similar story
Yeah.
in that I have a car and you can get a parking permit for where I live.
Oh, don't get me started on permits. I think it's better to play Russian roulette. I'm like, no. It's better value to just get a ticket once a week. No, it's not.
No, it's not, because the parking permit makes parking absolutely free. Now, I have a parking permit. My partner applied for it.
Okay, all right.
It's
'cause
in
I
my
was gonna
inbox.
say, yeah.
Have not printed. So every time I get home, I have to park a 20-minute walk away
Yeah. Because you don't have to permit.
because I don't have the permit. There will be a parking spot right outside my home. But no.
Lazy girls
That
would
would
never
require
need a permit.
printing. Do I know how to print anywhere? Absolutely no.
Absolutely not. Okay. Well, on today's episode, we're talking about Blake Lively.
Hi, I'm Blake Lively. It's so weird to say your full name.
Your husband said that the reason you don't gain any weight is for what single reason?
Because only 10% of it makes it into my mouth because I'm such a messy eater. Hello, Vogue. I'm Blake Lively, and this is my life and looks.
Blake Ellender Lively. I like that name. I think it's a nice girl's name. I
I've never heard it.
think it's nice. She was born in 1987 to a talent scout and an actor. She grew up in LA, where she hung out at her parents' acting classes. When she was in high school, her elder brother asked his talent agent, "Hey, could you set my sister Blake up with some auditions?" He said yes. And then she got a role in a little-known part in a movie called Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, where she played Bridget.
We were best friends and about to spend our first summer apart.
How about the swims? You try them on.
But a pair of pants would keep us
That
together.
is such an excellent
She
film.
filmed that movie between junior and senior high school, and from there she landed the role of Serena in Gossip Girl.
That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
And since she's appeared in a bunch of movies, from The Town, Green Lantern, The Age of Adeline, to one that will be brought up in today's courtroom, The Shallows. My structure today is as follows. The America Ferrera eye roll, an inspiration for curvy gills everywhere, a plantation wedding that was, to quote, a giant fucking mistake, putting a 6-month-old in danger, her casting in It Ends With Us, and finally, The Shallows.
Can I just say...
Are you going to remark on the lack of chronology?
Yeah, that's pretty random.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I didn't expect anything better from you.
Okay.
But can I just say, I feel like when her brother was like, hey, I don't know if you want to see if my sister can go to any auditions. We've had this come up in the council courtroom before. I think Hollywood looked at her and went, okay, wow, here's a movie. Okay, wow. Come on, in you come. You're very pretty.
Look at your face.
You're very, very beautiful. I just don't think she had to hustle.
Oh, she didn't have to hustle.
No, given she was in high school.
And all I remember from that first film, which I've seen 4, 7, 8 times, is that she's playing soccer.
Yeah, she's really fit.
And then she kind of runs off and she's just got all this blonde hair.
Why do I feel like her hair is out while she's playing soccer?
It is. And
which
it's
isn't
like,
very
it's gonna stick to your
believable.
neck. It's going to stick to your neck. It's going to get really sticky. It's going to get in your eyes when you're trying to get a shot. Okay. The America Ferrera eye roll. Claire, I'm going to show you a clip and I would like your reaction.
Okay.
Now, this was for an interview which was about the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants. I think it might have been the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants too.
Also an excellent film.
If you haven't seen Gossip Girl, just about everything has happened. Unbelievable.
No, you'd be surprised how much hasn't happened. You know, at the end of the first season, I was like, okay, well, what happens now? But we have a few more characters already in the beginning of the first season that come in and mess up our lives even more.
2 hours later.
We start in the Hamptons, which is a staple of New York socialites that you haven't yet seen.
Please describe what you saw in that clip.
I see Blake Lively answering a very boring question about Gossip Girl, and I see America Ferrera pissed off. She is pissed off and she is looking at Blake Lively like, no, please go on. Go on about the other show that isn't the film we just made and that we're being interviewed about. Maybe if you ask an irrelevant question, answer it in 5 seconds rather than 1 whole minute.
Don't take 11 minutes to answer the question.
So
I could be napping. I could be buying a coffee. I could be having my lunch. I could be doing anything else but sitting here. I don't even like Gossip Girl. I'm not interested. This isn't relevant.
It's terrible television.
It's terrible television. Yet somehow I am sitting here listening to my friend Blake answer a very boring question about her other television show.
She's really annoyed. I will say, though, I think she kept it classy. Like, I don't actually think it was that obvious.
She rolled her eyes and it like she's on television.
No, but you got to be staring at her to notice how dissatisfied she is. It's not like she says, shut up. Which
the
which she would have been entitled to do.
Okay, well, asked by Entertainment Weekly to comment on the incident, Lively said, I haven't even heard about it. I don't ever pay attention to that stuff. Yeah, it's not true. She's one of my best friends in the whole wide world, and honestly, when you're sitting in a room for 3 hours doing satellite interviews, we were staring at a post-it with a smiley face, so I think I probably rolled my eyes 100 times. I'm like, oh gosh, this thing is still going on. It wasn't about the post-it note.
Okay,
so.
admit that your friend America was pissed off.
She was pissed off about the
and
question.
that she had a right to be.
And I thought, you know what, maybe it was a post-it. But then I remembered in our episode of Cancelled about Anna Kendrick that this is not the first co-star that Blake has had an issue with. There seemed to be tension between them too. While speaking with BuzzFeed during the film's press tour, the pair recounted how a call time change had left Kendrick waiting an hour for Lively to arrive. And Kendrick famously said, that was the day I decided I hate you. As their feud rumours intensified, they started promoting the film separately more often. Claire, we established why they hated each other. Can you remember what our conclusion was?
It is that Blake Lively is a tall woman.
Yes.
And Anna Kendrick is a short woman.
And yes.
They are always incompatible. I would say, is America Ferrera relatively short?
I think she is.
Yeah. And I think she looks
at
at
the tall girl energy of Blake Lively.
Oh.
Even in the interview.
She's
it's
being
like,
tall.
why are your torso so long?
Yeah.
We barely fit in the same shot. This shot makes me look frumpy and it makes you look lanky and I don't like it. It makes me look stupid. America is actually shorter than Anna.
Okay.
Confirming our theory that Blake Lively hates short people.
Yeah, or that short people hate Blake Lively. Or both.
Sometimes you do roll your eyes at your friends, though.
Yeah. I roll my eyes all the time when we're out and you start talking and I go, here she fucking goes again. Oh, listen to her talk about her baby.
How's the baby?
Yeah.
I roll.
I make grunts.
Yeah.
I'm actually
lots
far
ruder.
ruder.
There's not even a camera there.
No.
It's like, who are you doing that at? No one's even looking at you. They're listening to my story.
It just makes me feel better.
Number 2, an inspiration for curvy gills
Okay,
everywhere.
I already have an issue with this one, but please continue.
It's 2016.
Yeah.
Which is a different time to the America Ferrera interview. I don't think I placed that in historical context.
I think Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants was earlier.
So far, we are chronological.
Okay.
Blake Lively is a body image warrior advocate. She never said that, but she wakes up and she thinks, this day in 2016, today I'm going to inspire everyone who isn't a size 6, who has curves, who doesn't fit the beauty standard perpetuated by people like, I don't know, Blake Lively.
Oh.
And she posts this picture.
Okay, so we've got Blake Lively on a red carpet where she is so perfect she looks like a wax figure. There's a weird, creepy man in the background, but her
who is that?
waist is tiny, her arms are tiny.
The guy in the background looks like he might have been a doctor in Chernobyl.
Yeah. Everything about her is so tiny. And then she turns around and she's got a voluptuous bum. But
Bottom.
in proportion, I mean, she looks bloody stunning. And the caption is, LA face with an Oakland booty. I don't know what that means.
Well, lucky you've got me. Because it is actually a lyric from the 1992 song from Sir Mix-a-Lot. And it's in reference to the bodies of black women.
Oh.
And some people didn't appreciate Lively using the lyrics. And here are some of the comments that post attracted. Another day, another rich white woman using women of colour's bodies as a punchline and commodity, one comment read. Another said, has Blake Lively even been to Oakland? I don't think that's the point, but that was their criticism. Others accused her of being racist and also not actually packing that much in the rear. And I don't know, she clearly just looks hot and she couldn't think of a caption, and we've all been there.
Actually, no, I do have sympathy for that because sometimes we go, it's a bloody good photo.
It's a bloody good photo.
Actually, I don't have that problem. I see other people who have that problem.
Oh, I've done like an impromptu photo shoot with my friends, right? And I go, well, this is a good one of me. I'm not even looking at them. They're sneezing, whatever. I'm like, this is my pic. I don't care. I can crop them out. I'll leave them in. It does make me look like I have friends if they're in it. So I go, I want to post this. I don't know how to be like, I look good, ?
I don't know how to have tone. I don't
know.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got to somehow make it look like I'm being funny or something.
Yeah.
And that's what she clearly tried to do, was like, I'll do an observation
about me as though I'm being self-deprecating. Like, I have an LA face and a big booty, which is transgressive.
Yeah.
But investigative journalists knew there was more work to be done. You don't just report on captions and comments.
No.
This is like Watergate. There is a story here, and they were like, what do investigative journalists do? They pick up the phone.
Real reporters have a few different things they do. They go to war zones
and they
also pick up the phone when Blake Lively posts an Instagram photo.
And they were like, well, who to call? Easy. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, God.
Who I think, I'll call him Sir a lot because I think Mix-a-Lot is his full name. So Sir a lot.
Mix for short.
He must have had an opening in his calendar because he could take this interview.
Okay.
He went, okay. So they asked Sir a lot what he thought of Lively using his lyrics when she is a white woman, but he was referring to black women more than 20 years ago. And is this where we're at as people and humanity?
I think we could probably just scroll past and forget.
It's not important. Sir a lot remarked that he quite liked the post, actually. The song was never intended as a battle between the races, he said. I wrote the song because I wanted Cosmopolitan. I wanted all these big magazines to kind of open up a little bit and say, wait a minute, this may not be the only beautiful. He wrote the song so that people could see that Blake Lively was beautiful too.
Oh, wow.
He didn't say that, but that's the implication.
That's really nice.
That a woman who is 6 foot,
beautiful face,
blonde hair, blue eyes, you too are considered beautiful in magazines. And Blake Lively liked that. But Claire, there was another type of comment that rolled in. The internet loves nothing more than tying this particular controversy to a past controversy and using this as irrefutable evidence of racism, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is the other comment. I'd like you to read it.
This is a reminder that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds got married on a plantation where slave cabins still stand. I knew this.
Moving on to the plantation wedding. Sometimes we accidentally have a plantation wedding. Oh, no. It's 2012. Blake Lively is marrying a man named Ryan Reynolds, who I have ambivalent feelings about.
We need him to visit the council courtroom as well.
Yeah,
stand trial.
And together they decide on a venue. It's in South Carolina. It's autumn. They're having 60 to 70 guests, including her Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants co-stars.
Including America?
Including America, who all have their own outfits they are not sharing.
I bet she rolled her eyes.
Yeah, and she ought to have. Florence and the Machine performs. E News describes the wedding as straight out of the Notebook, not least because the venue is literally straight out of the Notebook.
Wait, is it actually
It's
that
Ali's
home?
family home. It's like,
wow.
It's her family home. How romantic.
Did Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds particularly love that movie? Like, was it?
Of course, The Notebook is the most romantic movie of all time.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're a bird, I'm a bird.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's interesting they went for Ali's family home and not the White House that Ryan built.
They went for Ali's family
Okay.
home. The venue is called Boone Hall Plantation, which is a hint that the venue might be a plantation.
Mm-hmm.
To Australians who might not know the history of plantations, they were settlements in the southern United States that enslaved black people for labour. They are literally the sites for the horror of slavery. So there are these massive mansions where the white slave owners lived. Slaves lived in tiny shacks with dirt floors out the back.
Yes, we
went to like museums when we were in the
museums.
South, and we were like, you go and you see it, and it's like visiting. It's a historical site where you go, I cannot believe people lived in these conditions. Like, it's horrifying. But how could Blake and Ryan have known such a thing? They just knew it was called Boone Hall Plantation.
They went,
what?
Ali's
Why
family's
doesn't
home.
it say that it's a plantation on the brochure? Well, Claire, the 9 slave cabins referred to as Slave Strait might have been a hint.
Okay.
There was a street called Slave Strait,
Mm-hmm.
and it had 9 slave cabins.
Okay.
The site had crumbling brick slave quarters, fields of cotton, which was the backdrop for decades of violence and abuse experienced by Africans who had been forcibly removed from their homes. The house that they got married, their beautiful house, why was it so extra? Because it was built off the back of unpaid mistreated slaves. When you look back at the reporting in 2012, I really need to make the point that the media loved this wedding.
It's true. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds tied the knot Sunday in a top secret wedding that no one anticipated. And we know they got married at the Boone Hall Plantation in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, which for fans of The Notebook, they may recognize it because it's the same home where Ali spent her summer.
Do we think that in 2012, I'm not familiar enough with Americans kind of reckoning with their own history?
It was icky in 2012.
Okay.
But I want to point out that the same media who loved it.
Okay, of course.
Okay, in 2012,
it's always the case.
Like E! News, like all of those are just like small but star-studded. They write about the $3,000 cake. They're just salivating over the Mark Kaiser dress. They're like, oh. Then in 2018, Reynolds tweeted something in support of Black Panther, which was the first superhero movie to feature a majority black cast. And people were like, we have no problem with you being a racist, but you must be a consistent racist.
Yeah, because don't come out now and try and pretend like you care about people's rights.
You care about equality. You got married at a plantation. We were cool with you being a racist. But a hypocrite? We have some things to say. So everything about the plantation wedding resurfaced, and the same news outlets were like, how could you get married at a plantation?
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are apologizing today for holding their 2012 wedding at a southern plantation.
And it's like you were literally begging for photos in 2012. They were begging.
And you loved that it was Ali's house.
They were like, could you get any more romantic than The Notebook in capital letters? And then 6-8 years later, they're like,
disgusting.
It's the sight of slaves.
Disgusting.
And they're like, we didn't offer $1 million for photos.
We didn't send paps.
We didn't send paps. We didn't say this is a dream wedding destination. We never said that.
Absolutely not.
We just shook our heads and we went, it's not nice. It's not nice. Reynolds made a statement and he said, what we saw at the time was a wedding venue on Pinterest. Pause. What we saw after was a place built upon devastating tragedy.
That sums up white people. was what I saw was something pretty on Pinterest. What I realised was I'm complicit in oppression. I didn't know. I did not know.
Interestingly, since this, Pinterest has edited Pinterest so that they no longer serve people plantation weddings.
Oh, good.
Because it used to be you went onto Pinterest and you were like,
Because
where
it's
should I get married? And they were
it's
like,
aesthetic.
plantation?
Yeah.
Cotton field? Your guests could stay in the slave quarters. Wait, no, they couldn't because they have dirt floors. So perhaps they would like to stay in another plantation.
You wouldn't subject your guests to that.
No. Oh, God, no. No.
So why don't you have some photos with the backdrop?
Yes,
of the
that
slave
in the
quarters.
background because the sun hits it real nice in the afternoon.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous little shadow. And you can stand on that beautiful veranda that was built with the hands of slaves. And you look into the mansion, which again, built with the hands of slaves.
Aren't there actual houses? The architecture of the houses are Caribbean inspired.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There are parts of...
What else can we steal?
Yeah.
It's very that.
Yes.
Very that. And then it's like, you know what's a great wedding venue? This side of horror. In their defense, the couple has profusely apologized unreservedly multiple times. And I actually respect that they are like, we totally effed up with this.
You also, and I've looked it up, you can't get unmarried.
You can't undo it. And I think they would. And more than anything, I think they feel guilty, but I think they feel really ashamed because there's something really gross about like they are a really white couple and got married at a plantation. It's just really, really icky. And I do believe that they regret it. They donated $300,000 in the wake of George Floyd's death to legal funds because every time something like that comes up, everyone's like, hang on, didn't Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively get married at a plantation? They're like, shit. Yes, we did. We are donating $300,000. And they said, we're ashamed that in the past we've allowed ourselves to be uninformed about how deeply rooted systemic racism is. We want to educate ourselves about other people's experiences and talk to our kids about everything, all of it, especially our own complicity.
I think that's a good statement.
I respect their statement. And they called it a giant fucking mistake. And they actually got married again privately at their home. Because they were like at their home.
Not slave home. Okay.
With their nanny, cook and cleaner. No. What I'm trying to say is that slavery isn't completely abolished when it comes to rich people.
No, not at all. But
they do have stuff.
They clearly try.
But they pay those stuff.
Probably not
enough,
a lot.
But enough.
Yes.
Good.
But okay, so what they've tried to do is erase their mistake
with money and words.
Yeah.
Which we respect. Number 4, putting a 6-month-old in grave danger.
Okay, haven't we all? But continue.
It's 2015, which is earlier than the last thing. And Blake Lively shares a Father's Day post. No, it's later because they have babies.
Yeah.
It's 2015 and Blake Lively shares a Father's Day post to celebrate her husband and father of her children, Ryan Reynolds. That's how I feel about him. I don't know why.
It's like I'm a little bit like, stop trying to make it happen for me.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make him happen and stop trying to make me love him. Because I'm not married to him and he's not the father
performative
of my
and
children.
it's like, we're just a bit goofy. And I'm like,
well, you're really pretty, both of you. So
yeah. Sharing a photo of a child on the internet, what can go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
People never weigh in. It's actually amazing.
They're just like, great kid.
Yeah, people are like,
go you.
Gorgeous family, looks like you're doing your best. All power to you.
No. The caption reads, Happy Father's Day. Since the day our baby was born, I felt so strongly in my heart that you were most likely the father.
That's funny. Well, I mean, it's funny in the way that it wasn't written by her. It was clearly drafted by her.
Yeah, by her, because they're like, we're making out like you guys are two pranksters.
Yeah.
And this is the accompanying image.
Okay.
Claire, can you describe the image?
Okay, so Ryan Reynolds is standing there in what appears to be cargo pants. He looks like he's in the army with like sunglasses that exclusively are army sunglasses.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's got a baby strapped to him in one of those like carriers.
Yeah.
But it is a very comprehensive carrier.
Okay.
And I am not seeing a lot of baby and I'm seeing a lot of carrier. I'm seeing 2 tiny little feet sticking out at the bottom.
Confirmation of baby.
But I'm not seeing a head popping up.
All right. My concern, which was flagged by you early on, is that it does appear Ryan Reynolds is on a battlefield. But I think it might actually just be a 2015 Instagram filter. The comments express serious concern at how the baby is strapped into the carrier. One comment reads, Poor baby looks so uncomfortable and unsafe. Please have a hot hubby read the instruction manual.
Okay, we can't even see the baby's face, so how do we know that?
Another reads, please read your baby product manuals with as much detail as you read a script. Many said the way Ryan was holding the baby was dangerous. But Claire, that's just on Instagram. That's just a few comments. Every time I post a picture of Luna, I get an influx of people telling me I'm a bad mother because she is in grave and immediate danger. She's in a bouncer and people are like, she cannot be in that unsupervised. And I'm like, I am taking a photo of her in the bouncer.
Incredibly supervised.
She is. I am here.
Every way that you hold a baby, every way that you feed a baby, people will be like, just so you know, I'm not judging, just so you know.
But you're going to kill your baby.
You're doing a horrible job.
You're
and
damaging them.
You've
broken your baby.
Can women do anything right?
I was criticised because in the background you could see my stairs and everyone was like, stairs with a toddler. And I was like,
I'll demolish the stairs. We'll just live downstairs. I don't know.
Or upstairs. It depends on where you were when the stairs were demolished.
It'll be like The Sims.
Yeah. Where you keep walk to the end and you're like, Okay. A parenting blog weighed in because they were like, no, this is serious. This is a teachable moment. It's called The Stir. One of its writers said, James's, it's actually a girl's name.
I know that, and I quite don't mind James.
I quite don't mind,
name.
Just like Blake for a girl.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with their baby names.
James
and
is their
I
oldest.
Approve. Yeah.
James's feet, this is the quote by Jenny. James's feet are dangling out of the bottom of the carrier and they're together. When babies' feet are pushed together in a carrier, it increases the risk of hip dysplasia as their little hips are basically pushed out of their socket.
And you know that that's exactly what Ryan was thinking.
He was
that
just
morning.
like, let's fuck up your hips. So what I'm hearing here is that Ryan having his baby in the baby carrier is dislocating, nay, breaking his baby's hips, meaning that baby will never walk.
No, never.
The article goes on, it's not finished. The other thing wrong here is that James's head seems to be completely obscured. Baby wearers always want to make sure that you can see their infant's face and keep their airways clear. Can you see that in the image now?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, luckily, Claire, someone who needs a real job found this image of how the carrier is meant to be worn.
Let me have a look.
It is actually quite different. I can see where he went wrong.
Okay, wait. How do you know that it's the exact same carrier?
Because a person with too much time on their hand found it and said this was the right.
Look, I was going to
I can see what they've done. There's a bit around the middle, and I know this because I wear a carrier, that's meant to be on your stomach. Ryan thought you were meant to put the baby in that, and you're not.
Yeah.
So that actually, that is wrong. I'm not saying that it's going to break their hips. And the second bit, I wonder if he's kept this thing up to obscure the baby's head for pap reasons.
For privacy. And I didn't want to say it, but I did know just from your carrier that you have said number one rule of having your baby in a carrier.
You must be able to kiss the head at all times.
Yes, must be able. And then you've demonstrated. You've gone, must be able to kiss the head.
Yes.
Yeah. Testing? Yes, I can. And I did think that. But what I will say is I just feel like when it comes to babies and infants, we get so caught up in all the wrong things. And that child, in a few years' time, is going to be crawling in a backyard and eating worms or its own poop.
Yeah.
And that is just what happens to humans. So is it in a bad baby carrier? Yes. Will it have long-term damage? Hopefully not.
Well, you'll note that the woman in this picture wearing the baby carrier correctly is looking down and smiling at her infant while caressing the infant's bald head, which is an important part of parenting.
Yeah, you must.
But here's the thing. Why do baby carriers have to be so complicated? Why do you need a degree in engineering to strap them in properly?
Yeah.
Can we start treating parents like the idiots they are and don't allow any room for error because we will error?
Great point. I actually think the blame here, the crime,
is the carrier.
Is on baby
Too
accessories.
Many straps.
Yes.
Too many straps. Who would have thought you put the feet there?
I actually think the same thing sometimes about little baby onesies. And I go, too many zips?
Too many zips. And you know what? I might get cancelled. Who the fuck's ever read a manual? Who's got the time? You're sleep deprived. You've got a baby who's screaming. You're like, I will put it in upside down. Is this for an arm? Is this for a leg? I don't know. Some parenting expert then weighed in to Yahoo Parenting, commending Reynolds for holding his baby at all, remarking, although baby James is not in the most ideal position for this carrier, it's really wonderful to see a happy dad trying his best to follow his instincts and snuggle his baby close. When a baby is carried heart to heart on mum or dad's chest, even when not perfectly positioned, a parent is much more able to be attuned to how baby is doing versus when their babe is away from them in a stroller. This pissed me off too.
Oh, congratulations, Ryan Reynolds, on holding your baby.
Claire,
we should
applause.
Pause for a moment's silence of respect.
Applaud Ryan for carrying his baby wrong. Do it. I don't like it. And I don't like the word babe. And I don't like the word hubby. That was used at some point.
So just to clarify, Blake shared that photo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I reckon when the backlash happened, she went, fuck's sake. You idiot. You had one fucking job. It was fucking Father's Day. Could you have put our baby in the carrier correctly?
Please.
Jesus.
And now she's getting cancelled. And it's like, well, Blake, why didn't you check?
Come on. Look, I enjoy that we have given so much time to a single image of Ryan Reynolds in this Blake Lively episode. But as I said earlier, we need a cancelled on Ryan.
She posted the image and she is that baby's mother. She is that baby's mother, and it is mother's job to know best. And she didn't check.
Great point.
She has a husband who will hold her baby. The least she could do is make sure he's using the carrier correctly.
Yeah, true.
Okay?
She did start the controversy.
And at no point, like, she didn't say here, I can't believe I have a husband who touches his own baby.
Yeah.
She hasn't made enough of a fuss about that.
In fact, she made a joke. She made a joke. How she thinks he's the father.
Exactly right.
Disrespectful.
Number 5. It ends with us.
Can someone check in on the Colleen Hoover girls? Because after seeing these shots of Blake Lively on the set of It Ends With Us, I don't think they're going to be doing very well.
Have you read this book?
No,
You read the other one?
No, you may recall that For Your Hens, which wasn't really a hens, I bought it for you. And then I started...
I thought that's because you read it.
No, I started reading it in the bathtub that night. It was so appalling. I couldn't actually get through it.
Okay, well, it's a book by Colleen Hoover that is one of the most well-read, yet universally mediocre books probably ever written.
I don't think it's won literary awards.
No.
But
people love it, so they're making a movie. Now, Lily is the main character, and Lily is 23 in the book, and she has red hair. So when a cast announcement was posted picturing 35-year-old blonde Lively as Lily, readers rioted.
Colleen Hoover here. We have a cast. Our Lily is going to be played by Blake Lively. Blake Lively, y'all. She's my dream Lily.
They rioted. They said, but she's not got red hair. How would you address such an issue?
It doesn't look like her. That's what they said.
It doesn't look like her, and she's old as fuck.
And they said, look at some other great casting, such as Kristen Stewart as Bella Swan.
I know what you are.
Say it. Out loud. Say it.
Vampire.
For
Fabulous.
example.
Fabulous.
Have a look at What's-Her-Face in 50 Shades of Grey.
I don't think I'd fit in here. Look at me.
I am.
Excellent casting.
I actually had an issue with that, but never mind. Alongside Lively, playing a man named Ryle, who is meant to be 30, is Justin Baldoni, who is 39, which is, drumroll please, a bigger age gap, but no one minds.
No.
Men don't age, women do. And they're mad that she's had babies because they're like, she's had babies. How can she be 23? And it's like, she's just acting.
Yeah, no. She is
acting like a 23-year-old. Furthermore, people have lost it over the pictures that have leaked of Lively in character. Apparently, in this book, they do not, like, her wardrobe, the way she dresses isn't really a feature of it. So I would like you just to describe the look of her in these.
All right, I've seen these images. I've pored over them because I do get very interested. And the weird thing is I'm confused era-wise. Like, it's like it's a period film.
But like what period?
I don't, a period,
it's very like
a period that isn't now is all I can say because the clothes are so ugly.
The last one. Yeah. What is that?
Oh my God.
What is that? Okay, there was a thing we had to do at school. We haven't talked about this, and this should have been in our cancelled episode, but we did drama in year 8, right? So this was like 2005 or something. And we had to do like theatre.
Street theatre.
Street theatre. It was the most mortifying. That's when I went,
we had
no,
to do it
drama's
at
not for
open
me.
day.
Yeah, we had to do street theatre. And they were like, you've got to act like something while everyone's coming through the school. And I was like, okay, I would rather die.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you've got to be hobos.
Yeah. Did we?
You can't use that word. Can you? That seemed really degrading and wrong.
But everybody got assigned. It was sort of like little groups and everybody got assigned.
And we would assigned homeless people.
Our group was hobos.
That's how we dress.
And that is how Blake Lively looks.
But secondly, people were going through the school to see if this is where they should send their children.
And
there were homeless people on the street. We were hiding because we were like, we're mortified by this entire thing. But what were we meant to do? Go up to people and be like, can I have money for a sandwich?
It was really weird. And I don't know. I haven't thought about it in so long, but seeing that image of Blake Lively, that is what we wore.
That is what we wore. It's an oversized,
like something of Nan's
flannelette number that kind of goes down, and even the hair and stuff. It's just not.
That was
not
weird.
right. It's not right. Okay, finally, The Shallows.
Mm-hmm.
Claire, why do I feel like we saw this movie at the movies?
Because we definitely saw it at the movies.
Okay, it came out in 2016.
Can I just say, there is no film genre I love more than Shark Attack. Every time.
That's why I think we saw it at the movies.
Yeah, we went, no, this is right up my alley.
It's got a frankly brilliant premise.
Mm-hmm.
A surfer named Nancy, she's in Mexico, which actually was Lord Howe Island.
Oh, that's
it was in Australia.
fascinating.
Thank you.
That's
it's in
a
New
fun
South
fact.
Wales, and then it's a little bit in Queensland because
Mhm.
Mexico wouldn't let her shoot.
No.
Something about her mother died, something, will she become a surgeon? Anyway, she goes surfing and then is riding a wave back to the beach, but she spots a shark in the wave, which is one of our favourite things.
Yeah.
Shark spotting in a wave.
Yeah.
And it's 7 metres long.
Big shark.
Double the average size of a shark.
It's-
Of a great white shark.
It doesn't happen, but yeah,
Never
anyway,
mind
it's
that.
fine.
The shark knocks her off her board and then she climbs onto a whale carcass.
Because, sorry, you've missed such important context. The shark is definitely there because of the whale carcass.
Oh, yeah, because she spots the carcass and she's like,
And she's all alone. It's a thing.
You know, when people go and surf alone.
Yeah.
And then the shark starts ramming the carcass, so she swims to an isolated rock. Lucky break, Nancy. She spends the night on the rock. She starts making friends with a wounded seagull, who she calls Steven Seagal.
Oh.
You're not totally alone. I got this little dude, Steven Seagal, here, keeping me company. Show me your wing.
I thought this movie was a lol, but the internet is generally like, nah, it's solid.
Oh, no, it's a terrible film.
No, the internet is like, no, it was fine. It was actually fine, which surprised me.
Totally disagree because the premise...
Absolute box office success.
Okay, no, the premise is great.
Fabulous.
But then it loses its way because then you've got a shark with a vendetta. That felt
Personal
weird.
vendetta, and that's what we get to.
It was just a lot of Blake Lively standing on a rock in a bikini, which I didn't hate.
That is why it was box office success. The shark appears to have a personal vendetta against Nancy. These are some of my issues with the film.
Yeah.
It keeps jumping out of the water, clocking her with his eyes, and displaying basic behaviour, which is not common for sharks, let alone the biggest one in the whole world.
And it's like, there's a whale carcass right there.
Eat it.
You should be gnawing.
Full. No, you should be full.
Yeah.
But sharks are never full.
No.
Not when there's a Nancy about.
Focus on, you'll get a lot more satisfaction from the whale carcass than you will
on
from this very
thin woman named Nancy.
Yeah.
They both get stung by jellyfish at one point. I repeat, the shark gets stung by jellyfish.
Aw.
I didn't know sharks got stung by jellyfish.
Yeah.
It also feels like hasn't Nancy been through enough at this point, because she's actually got a wound which she sews up with her own jewellery.
Yeah.
Everyone who tries to save her gets eaten by the monster shark.
Because the monster shark is like, no, Nancy's for me.
Yes.
That one's for me.
My last point is, where is literally everyone?
Oh, yeah, no, it's quite empty.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's a remote beach in Mexico. It is remote. They set that up.
I know, but I feel like the day before there's a bunch of surfers.
Yeah, no,
and then the next day, what? Yeah. No surfers come. And then a few people are like, oh, where'd she go? And then there's that man who tries to steal all her things.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the water to try and steal the surfboard. He gets eaten. Anyway, I enjoyed this review that said, can't a heroine just survive a vicious shark attack without also having to overcome a family trauma and make a decision about whether or not she wants to be a doctor?
So true. It's like the shark was enough.
The shark was enough.
We didn't need any backstory.
We didn't. You know, Blake Lively actually, because I kept going, this reminds me of another movie. And then I went, I think it's that Buried movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh,
is that what it's called? The one where he's buried?
Yes.
The whole time?
Tense.
Yes, 911.
I'm buried in a coffin in the ground. You have to help me. You have to help me. I can't breathe.
How did you end up in the coffin, sir?
My convoy was ambushed. I got hit in the head. I blacked out, and that's the last thing I remember.
Apparently she did it because Ryan did Buried and she was like, he found it really challenging but really rewarding. So this was her Buried.
Oh, like just the physical challenge of being pursued by a shark.
Yeah. It's like quite a simple premise. The New York Post said that the shark was more interesting than Blake Lively. And
well, I agree because the shark did have a very clear character arc.
It did.
In that it had a vendetta
against Nancy. Claire, the New York Post wrote a review from the point of view of the shark. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Yeah, I do very well.
So there I was, swimming around my fave safe space, the shallows of my Mexican cove, 100 miles from nowhere, when this blonde surfer girl popped up without warning. Not even a sign, saying, "Caution, Blake Lively infested waters."
Actually, so true. The shark is just trying to live its best life. And then there's this woman who's like, "Rrr."
Yeah. Get out of my house.
Yeah.
Here's my problem. Leave the sharks alone, let them be. Get out of their water and stop annoying them. They're not monsters, but the puppy dogs of the sea, who, do sometimes like a little bit of a nibble. But again, get out of my house. Find a new sea creature to pick on, like octopus.
Great point.
Octopus, blue ring octopus. Just chaos.
Oh.
You don't want one of them on you. They poison.
And they're inconspicuous.
They're inconspicuous.
Whereas
I reckon way more dangerous than a shark.
Yeah, whereas a shark, if you see one, you go, this ain't good.
Depends on the shark.
No. But if you saw a great white shark, you'd get an inkling.
Yeah, problem is I can't tell the difference. I've seen a reef shark and been like, oh, no. Hear it, life flashing before my eyes. And I'm like, that is a 30-centimetre reef shark. I'm okay.
I'm absolutely just fine.
I'm okay. Before we get to charges and sentences, there is another crime that you may have seen on a little known app called TikTok.
Okay.
And it's Blake Lively getting ready for prom. And it's in her Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants days.
So how old? She would have been
She was between junior and senior high.
Yeah.
So she had to go
teens.
back to high school, right? And clearly she's this big deal. And everyone's like, let's go to Blake Lively's prom. Context. She was a cheerleader.
Oh, what
She
a
was in the
surprise.
choir.
Yeah.
Okay? She was killing it. She was Blake Lively in high school. Let's watch this video.
I love sparkly. Anything sparkly, I just, sparkles. This is kind of like the Britney Spears dress that I like. Like, it's nude and it has the different sparkles on it. This is the one that when I walked by the door, I went, I gasped because it's pink and it's sparkly and it's just, that's what I love. Okay, Access, you've been following me around all day. Now you're in my room and I need to do my final touch-up. So, sorry, but you gotta get out of here right now. I will see you soon.
Okay, where should we begin? I'll tell you where. The straightening of a fringe with But it's incredible that she can be so 2005 and yet so objectively beautiful.
Can you imagine what that would do to you to go to your prom? You're you or me, and you go to your prom, you're an average gal.
You're an average...
Your mum gave you $100 to spend on a dress, and you had to find shoes because you blew your budget. And she said, not hair and makeup. It's not worth it for you.
And you say, please. And she says, okay, I found a hairdresser very far away
that's
that will
doing
do
for
some
free
tight curls.
And you're like, okay. And I remember for one in year 12, mum was like, I've found a place that's doing like makeup for free, like so they can practice. And I was like, oh, fine. And I remember it was so ugly that I got home and I was like, they rubbed my face with pigment. Like it was like they did pink eyeshadow, pink lipstick, pink. And I was like, I've actually never looked this ugly. And then I had to rub it all off and start again. That didn't happen to Blake. She is wearing an Oscars dress.
Yeah. She's like, oh, it's pink and sparkly.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, you look like you're going to the Oscars and everyone else looks like they're going to prom. And they're going to be wearing some revolting blue satin number that they're going to look back on. They're going to have tight curls and they're going to know they're too tight.
There are going to be people wearing dresses that their grandmothers made for them.
Yeah.
And they're
going to have their foundation and it's going to stop at the jaw. Okay? And I've shown up and there's Blake. And she's got her hair done perfectly. She's got E! News following her around for her prom.
And then what everybody tries to do at like your formal, your prom, whatever, they're like, oh, we'll do some awards. No, we don't need awards.
Yeah.
We'll do some awards.
No, we'll do prom king and prom queen.
We'll
Well,
do-
Blake Lively's here. That's ridiculous.
We don't need them.
You know what else they do? Too many group shots.
Yeah.
I look short and white.
Yeah. I don't need to stand
I don't
next
look
to
nice.
anyone.
I look
Out of context, you can imagine I'm better looking than I am. Okay?
in context.
Okay.
She spent more money
Yeah.
on her look.
And look at her face.
It's now time for charges and sentences. My charge is unrelated to literally everything we've discussed.
That's
I
when
would
the
like to
charges are
bring
the
new
best.
evidence at the end.
At this point, yes.
I've always found her and Ryan Reynolds insufferable on Instagram.
Okay, well, no, we have touched on it just a little bit.
They think they're couple goals.
Yeah.
I have written the word pranks.
Do they actually prank each
They
other?
prank each other and everyone thinks it's really funny and they're like, oh, silly trolls.
And they're like, we have a great sense of humour. And it's like, I don't think that you do, which is fine.
So I saw this really summed it up for me. It's a BuzzFeed article and it says Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's relationship timeline is goals for any two trolls in love. And then it says, because the couple who trolls together stays together. And I'm like, I hate this.
You should troll. You and Luca should troll.
Yeah,
more.
and it's constantly like, even the thing about like, I think you're the dad.
He's probably the dad.
He's probably the, like, you do know he's the dad. Part of my charge also was the word blah. Blah. Just
Okay.
blah is how I
Yeah.
feel. My sentence. I think I have to work through this privately because I think this is something that is a problem I have with couples. I have a similar thing. Chrissy Teigen, John Legend.
Is that other people's happiness that makes you
I think
uncomfortable?
so,
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's that. I think it's any sort of performative nature of relationships. I think it's
But then it's like, aren't we all performing?
oh, we are.
Mm.
This is not, and that's the thing is when I looked back on my crime, I went, not a crime. Hence why my sentence is for myself and my own self-reflection. And when I next see a therapist, I will say, no, we've got to talk about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and why they rile me so.
And show them just a few Instagram screenshots.
See, they think they're pranksters.
And they'll say, we have bigger issues to work through
And I
today,
will
Jessie.
say, no. They describe each other as my least favourite word of all time. Do you know what it is? 3, 2, 1, goofy.
Oh.
Any celebrity who calls themselves goofy
has no sense of humour.
has no sense of humour at all.
I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
I remember it's like you see like, I don't know, Jessica Simpson at 20 and she's like, I'm just a big goofball. And it's like, oh.
You're very well put together for a goofball.
You're not that goofy.
Jessie, my charge, and it's something I've sort of picked up thematically throughout.
Yeah, well, that's the only way to pick it up. Sure as hell wasn't chronologically legible.
Okay. My charge is not sure if can act, just hot.
You don't mean that.
And so I'm thinking about things like Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants. I'm thinking about Gossip Girl. I'm thinking about The Shallows.
In preparation for this, I listened to a dirty, disgusting podcast about blind items on Blake Lively. I shan't repeat most of what I heard, but there was something I heard. And it was about her being in the film The Town with Sir Benjamin Affleck. And apparently it was suggested that she do some acting lessons for that. And she didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. Apparently she also had an affair with him.
Okay, you weren't going to repeat
No, I wasn't
those.
going to reveal that.
As we discussed, she's absolutely beautiful.
No. Have you watched The Age of Adeline?
No, I've seen clips of it on an app called TikTok.
Okay, well, people say
that she's lovely in it.
In the second half of that, it appears she can act.
Okay.
That's what people say. I haven't seen it, but that's the
lovely.
rumor.
Well, so what I will say is that I don't necessarily think it's a small
She
crime.
can't not act.
She can't not act. I just don't think she's a great actor.
It's fine.
I think that she gets a lot of points simply from being absurd. Like when I watch her act, I'm not thinking about whether she can act because I'm distracted by her face and her hair.
Yeah, her hair does come up a lot.
To that, I will say, my sentence is, I'm going to need Blake Lively, if we're going to continue down this path of being an actor and taking on roles such as The Shallows,
Nancy Adams.
We are going to need her to 1 times time, go full method. I'm going to need her to have a moment where she really strips back. And she goes,
what kind of role do you need?
This is not about me being hot. This is about me acting.
Has she ever done that?
No, not yet. Not yet. And
Green
I think,
Lantern?
No. And I think now...
In The Shallows, she had a bit of muck on her face.
She looked so beautiful.
She was so hot. She was in bikini the whole time. And then there was like a little bit of like blood that looked like freckles on her nose. And she was like, oh, I'm a mess.
And weren't they like, didn't she film it like a day after giving birth?
Yeah.
And she's in a bikini.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, cool. But so I think she needs to go full method. I think she needs to commit herself to the art of acting.
I think that she should maybe do that with Ryan. Because he's also got an issue of not being taken seriously enough. That's why he did that Buried movie. Is it called Buried?
I think so.
Because he's in that box.
And that seemed to be I think a lot of that movie was set in the box. Anyway, so I do think that we need to see Blake Lively level up acting-wise.
Level up.
And then maybe people will forgive her for these lesser transgressions.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Cancelled. The executive producer of Cancelled is Talissa Bazaz with audio editing by Thom. Please leave us a review if you liked this podcast below. Go and read the reviews. They're weird
because funny.
And they're out of context, and that's why we like them. You can write whatever you want as long as you give us 5 stars. And you can follow us at @twins_thoughts on Instagram.
We'll post some of the outfits from
Definitely some of the outfits
with us. And
exactly right. And also just some pics from The Shallows.
Yeah.
Some moments, that kind of thing.
Some scenes with the shark and the whale.
So you can go there to see basically all the images we refer to.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.